Is marriage an outdated tradition? Our topic is tradition, culture, and identity. Tradition is a belief or behavior passed down within a group or society with symbolic meaning or special significance with origins in the past. Culture is the social behavior and norms found in human societies, and identity are the qualities, beliefs, personality, looks, and/or expressions that make a person or group. Our aim is to investigate if marriage is becoming outdated. The idea of marriage is something that we have planted in our brains since we were kids. We were taught about finding the one and finding the person we were going to spend the rest of our lives with. Generally, whether our parents were able to accomplish that or not, they wanted that story for us. Marriage means what you want it to mean, whether it's the legal and financial aspect, the family aspect, the fun aspect, or the life building aspect. It means something different to everyone. It takes work and dedication, but if it's right, it can work.
The fear of commitment. While marriage rates drop, the number of cohabiting adults is quickly rising. One reason millennials prefer cohabitation could be that separation is relatively simple. The generation that grew up watching their parents' messy divorces may be hesitant to enter into binding legal contracts. Psychologist Jennifer B. Rhodes says, "This lack of formal commitment, in my opinion, is a way to cope with anxiety and uncertainty about making the right decision." While it's a choice for some, many millennials who avoid marriage are stuck with analysis paralysis. Marriage is becoming old-fashioned. Many young people think marriage is an outdated tradition. The least religious generation, Generation Y, prefers secular partnership with minimal governmental influence. Marriage simply isn't cool anymore. Sociologist Andrew Cherin says, "If you get married in your 20s and you're part of a college-educated crowd, it might feel old-fashioned or even embarrassing to admit that you're married." Millennials who do choose marriage or long-term partnerships take this concern for equality into their love life. A study done on 3,000 daters revealed that the primary thing millennials want in a relationship is equality. Young couples want equal workloads, equal power, and separate finances.
Starting with the USA, a survey of 3,000 Americans done in association with Time magazine found that nearly 4 in 10 Americans think marriage is becoming obsolete. 44% of those between the ages of 18 and 29 saw marriage as obsolete compared to 32% of those 65 and older. Other groups more likely to see marriage as a fading institution include blacks at 44%, those with a high school diploma or less at 44%, and people who make $30,000 or less a year at 48%. The median age of getting married is at its highest point ever. For women, it's 26.1, and for men, 28.2. Young people are marrying less often, in part because they are taking marriage more seriously, after watching their own parents divorce or separate from one another. When asked why they wanted to get married, 93% said love, 87% said making a lifelong commitment, 81% said companionship, 59% said having children, and in the bottom of the list was 31%, which was financial stability.
Now we will talk about marriage in the UK. Office for National Statistics say there were about 240,000 marriages between opposite-sex couples in 2015, the latest year that figures are available for, a drop by more than 8,300 or a decrease of 3.4% from the previous year. Although there has been a gradual long-term decline in the number of people tying the knot since the early 70s, the number of weddings increased for men aged 50 and over and women between the ages of 35 and 39 and 45 and over. By contrast, men and women aged under 20 have seen the largest percentage decrease in marriage rates since 2005, with a drop of 56% in the number of men getting married and 66% of women. Experts say the drop in the overall number was an indication of lower social expectations that couples will marry. The rising cost of getting wed and people increasingly deciding to prioritize things such as education, buying a house, and going traveling were also given as reasons. 80 years ago, people got married in part because society expected them to, said Chris Sherwood, chief executive at relationship support charity Relate. These same societal pressures don't exist today, and it's to be celebrated that people now have far greater choice around how they form, structure, and manage their relationships.
Graphs on the table, we can see that the rate of marriages between UK and USA has a rapid decrease, but the rate of divorce increased a lot. So we can deduce that marriages are becoming outdated, but also this can happen because of other things such as beliefs and traditions.
Finally, we can see a comparison between 6 countries around the world to have a global perspective. There is a trend of marriage decreasing from 1990 to 2014.
After investigating and analyzing this topic in different areas, we reached the conclusion that marriage has become outdated.